Lake Van is the largest lake in Turkey, located in the far east of the country in the provinces of Van and Bitlis. It is a saline soda lake, receiving water from numerous small streams that descend from the surrounding mountains. Lake Van is one of the world's largest endorheic lakes. The original outlet from the basin was blocked by an ancient volcanic eruption. Although Lake Van is situated at an altitude of 1,640 meters in a region with harsh winters, its high salinity prevents most of it from freezing, and even the shallow northern section is only occasionally an exception. Hydrology and chemistry. Lake Van is 119 kilometers across at its widest point, averaging a depth of 171 meters with a maximum recorded depth of 451 meters. The lake surface lies 1,640 meters above sea level and the shore length is 430 kilometers. Lake Van has an area of 3,755 square kilometers and a volume of 607 cubic kilometers. The western portion of the lake is deepest, with a large basin deeper than 400 meters lying northeast of Tatvan and south of Arlet. The eastern arms of the lake are shallower. The Van Artemar portion shelves gradually, with a maximum depth of about 250 meters on its northwest side where it joins the rest of the lake. The Ursus arm is much shallower, mostly less than 50 meters, with a maximum depth of about 150 meters. The lake water is strongly alkaline and rich in sodium carbonate and other salts, which are extracted by evaporation and used as detergents. Geology. The lake's outlet was blocked at some time during the Pleistocene, when lava flows from Nemrut volcano blocked westward outflow towards the Muse Plain. Now dormant, Nemrut Dagi is close to the western shore of the lake, and another dormant stratovolcano, Supan Dagi, dominates the northern side of the lake. The water level of the lake has often altered dramatically. Near Tatvan, Oswald noted a raised beach high above the present level of the lake as well as recently drowned trees. Investigation by Deegans and others in the early 1980s determined that the highest lake levels above the current height had been during the last ice age, about 18,000 years ago. Approximately 9,500 years ago there was a dramatic drop to more than 300 meters below the present level. This was followed by an equally dramatic rise around 6,500 years ago. Similar but smaller fluctuations have been seen recently. The level of the lake rose by at least 3 meters during the 1990s, drowning much agricultural land, and seems to be rising again. The level rose approximately 2 meters in the 10 years immediately prior to 2004. As a deep lake with no outlet, Lake Van has accumulated great amounts of sediment washed in from surrounding plains and valleys, and occasionally deposited as ash from eruptions of nearby volcanoes. This layer of sediment is estimated to be up to 400 meters thick in places, and has attracted climatologists and volcanologists interested in drilling cores to examine the layered sediments. In 1989 and 1990, an international team of geologists led by Dr. Stefan Kemp from the University of Hamburg retrieved 10 sediment cores from depths up to 446 meters. Although these cores only penetrated the first few meters of sediment, they provided sufficient VARBs to give proxy climate data for up to 14,570 years BP. A team of scientists headed by paleontologist Professor Thomas Litt at the University of Bonn has applied for funding from the International Continental Scientific Drilling Program for a new, deeper drilling project to examine the lake's sediments. Litt expects to find that Lake Van stores the climate history of the last 800,000 years, an incomparable treasure house of data which we want to tap for at least the last 500,000 years. A test drilling in 2004 detected evidence of 15 volcanic eruptions in the past 20,000 years. Climate. Lake Van is situated in the highest and largest region of Turkey, which has a harsh continental climate. Average temperatures in July are between 22 and 25 degrees Celsius, and in January between -3 degrees Celsius to -12 degrees Celsius. In particularly cold winter nights the temperature reaches -30 degrees Celsius. Lake Van mitigates the climate somewhat, so in the city of Van, on the shore of the lake, the average temperature in July is 22.5 degrees Celsius, and in January -3.5 degrees Celsius. The average annual rainfall in the basin of Lake Van ranges from 400 to 700 millimeters. Ecology. The only fish known to live in the brackish water of Lake Van is chalk Alberna starichi, the pearl mullet, or encycephaly, a cyprinid fish related to chalbandace, which is caught during the spring floods. In May and June, these fish migrate from the lake to lesser alkaline water, spawning either near the mouths of the rivers feeding the lake or in the rivers themselves. After spawning season it returns to the lake. 103 species of phytoplankton have been recorded in the lake, including cyanobacteria, flagellates, diatoms, green algae and brown algae. 36 species of zooplankton have also been recorded, including Rotatoria, Cladocera and Copepoda in the lake. In 1991, researchers reported the discovery of 40 meters tall microbialites in Lake Van. These are solid towers on the lakebed created by mats of coccoid cyanobacteria that create aragonite in combination with calcite precipitating out of the lake water. The Lake Van region is the home of the rare Van cat breed of cat, noted for, among other things, its unusual fascination with water, and is surrounded by fruit and grain-growing agricultural areas. History. Tushpa, the capital of Urartu, was located near the shores of Lake Van, on the site of what became medieval Van's castle, west of present-day Van City. The ruins of the medieval city of Van are still visible below the southern slopes of the rock on which Van Castle is located. Armenian kingdoms. The lake was the center of the Armenian kingdom of Ararat from about 1000 BC, afterwards of the satrapy of Armenia, kingdom of Greater Armenia, and the Armenian kingdom of Vaspurakan, along with Lake Sevan in today's Armenia and Lake Urmia in today's Iran. Van was one of the three Great Lakes of the Armenian kingdom, referred to as the Seas of Armenia, the lower sea being Lake Urmia. Over time, the lake was known by various Armenian names, including Armenian and Byzantine Empire. By the 11th century, the region around Lake Van was on the border between the Byzantine Empire, with its capital at Constantinople, and the Seljuk Turkish Empire, with its capital at Isfahan. In the uneasy peace between the two empires, local Armenian Byzantine landowners employed Turkoman Gazis and Byzantine Akritoi for protection. In the second half of the 11th century, Emperor Romanus IV Diogenes launched a campaign to reconquer Armenia and head off growing Seljuk control. Diogenes and his large army crossed the Euphrates and confronted a much smaller Seljuk force led by Alparslan at the Battle of Manzikert, north of Lake Van on 26 August 1071. Despite the greater numbers, the cumbersome Byzantine force was defeated by the more mobile Turkish horsemen and Diogenes was captured. Seljuk Empire. Alparslan divided the conquered eastern portions of the Byzantine Empire among his Turkoman generals, with each ruled as a hereditary beylik, under overall sovereignty of the Great Seljuk Empire. Alparslan gave the region around Lake Van to his commander Sogman el-Kubi, who set up his capital at Arlat on the western side of the lake. The dynasty of Arlashes ruled this area from 1085 to 1192. The Arlaches were succeeded by the Ayyubid dynasty. Architecture. Near the Van Castle and the southern shore, on Akdamar Island, lies the 10th-century Church of the Holy Cross, which served as a royal church to the Armenian Vaspurakan kingdom. The ruins of Armenian monasteries also exist on the other 3 islands of Lake Van, Lim, Arta, and Katuts. The area around Lake Van was also the home to a large number of Armenian monasteries, among the most prominent of these being the 10th-century Narek Vank and the 11th-century Varaga Vank, both now destroyed. The Arlaches left a large number of historic tombstones in and around the town of Arlet. Local administrators are currently trying to have the tombstones included in UNESCO's World Heritage List, where they are currently listed tentatively. Transportation. The railway connecting Turkey and Iran was built in the 1970s, sponsored by Cento. It uses a train ferry across Lake Van between the cities Tatvan and Van, rather than building railway tracks around the rugged shoreline. Transfer from train to ship and back again limits the total carrying capacity. In May 2008, talks started between Turkey and Iran to replace the ferry route with a new double-track electrified railway. In December 2015, the new generation of train ferries operated by the Turkish State Railways, the largest of the kind in Turkey, entered service in Lake Van. Ferhat Melan Airport in Van is located close to the shore of Lake Van. Turkish Airlines, Anadolu Jet, Pegasus Airlines and Sun Express are the airline companies in Turkey which have regular flights to this airport. Sports. Lake Van occasionally hosts several water sports, sailing and inshore powerboat racing events, such as the UIM World Offshore 225 Championships, IOC Van Grand Prix, and the Van Lake Festival. Islands. Adir Island, Akdamar Island, Karpanak Island, Kus Island.